So we have some good mornings. Front loading is optional. We have alternating step out squats. All right, we'll talk about what those are. And then we did them a couple weeks ago, so they shouldn't be too unfamiliar to you. And then we have 5 times through 8 Romanian deadlifts or deadlifts. So this obviously is going to depend on your equipment, your movement choice, and your range of motion options. Supersetting this with 8 to 10 vertical jumps. If we can't jump, that's okay. We can find something else. Okay. So we'll make all this work. But basically, the hope here is to superset the deadlift with a little bit of, I don't know, in elevated heart rate, intensity sort of thing, explosive power, if possible. And then after that, we have 4 sets of 8 Bulgarian split squats per leg, 8 push-ups, and 16 heel elevated glute bridges. If you can't elevate your heels regular, glute bridges are fine. Okay. And I'll review all that again, Risa. Do not have to remember everything, but if you do like to refer back to it, I don't mind at all. So now we have some limitations coming in here, but we'll kind of work with what we've got. And we'll just start with our normal, I don't know, normal floor stuff. Start with some cat cows first. Actually, not that cold. I'm just really tired. Okay. Okay. So 10 cat cows or so. Again, if you do a few more of these, that's okay. After 10 or so, I think I'm on 7 or 8 now. Can't remember. Let's move into your bird dogs. Extend a leg first. That helps. Just squeeze your butt. Lift the foot. Lift your hands. It's an option. And then switch. Yeah, keep that opposite foot more passive. So toe down. That's fine. Or more active with the flexed foot. Third, 10. That's 5 per side. Child's pose feels normal for me somehow. This just feels like a good choice today. Maybe just today. But it feels like a nice way to go. So child's pose. Let's kind of walk your hands 1 step to the left. So you're getting a stretch on your right side. Come back to center and switch to the other side. Followed by threading the needle or some sort of thoracic rotation. So putting up, reaching through. Do this at least 3 times. Or switching. Hey, lovely. Let's have a seat. We're gonna go ahead and do our Shin boxes, 90-90s. If you need to sit back to relieve the low back, that's okay. We're gonna shift to one side. But this one, it's always meant to be kind of a very gentle stretch. If it's not gentle, let's find a alternative or an adjustment that works for you here. Okay, so let's continue our warm-up. We'll come back to kind of a standing position here, and let's go ahead and just get some squats. So find yourself in a standing. It's okay if you can't move your camera. That's okay. So we're gonna squat here. I put your feet, what your squat stance, whatever that is for you. For me, that's about shoulder width, and I can't see my feet here, but use your imagination. And then from here, right, if I go from the side, right, I'm gonna squat down like I'm sitting to a chair. I like to stick my hands out for balance, but you don't have to. Right, and then stand back up. I want your toes and your heels planted as you do this. And if you're looking down, you should see your knee line up with your feet. So kick it over your toes. Let's do 10. Whatever range of motion you currently have. It's okay if it's not very much. So this first part, our good mornings, front loading is optional, and the alternating step out squats are meant to be kind of an active warm up for our next part. So ultimately, the good mornings do not need to be weighted. You can have your hands behind your head, your chest stays up, right, and just focus on the hinging element as opposed to adding weight. If you're interested in adding load to this, you could put a barbell on your back if you have one. That's fine. You don't have one of those. The dumbbell can be a little challenging behind your head. I mean, it's not impossible. That one might make a little more sense being kind of held kind of near the chest or the belly, kind of like in a row shape. So in this case, I'm holding my dumbbell to the side, and then I can kind of just gently, it's against my rib cage, but gently, I can kind of right hinge there. A kettlebell tends to be easier in this, at least for me, in this scenario, in just terms of its form factor. So that part of your kettlebell can be on your sternum. I'm grabbing this. Same thing, right? Doing a total of 8 reps. So this is one of those things where if the weight you're carrying doesn't make a lot of sense, don't worry about it. Yep. Only 8 good mornings. You may or may not feel a stretch in your hamstrings. That's okay. You're using a camera or a mirror somewhere. You want to make sure your hip stops before your shoulders start to move independent of the hips. So what that looks like, if you're wondering, is if whether you wait or not, it's going to be, this is your good morning. You can keep going, but this is where we start to, here to here is where you start to move independently. And it's not bad, but that will load your low back. So I just want to point that out. So if you're someone who's low back sensitive, that might be a problem. Yeah, if we add weight, so I want to avoid the ladder if possible. Yeah, so I don't want the torso moving extra unless you're intentionally doing some low back work. Okay. From here are alternating step out squats. So I'll show you my hips and down for this one. This feels a bit like a 2-step really. Without the, yeah, exactly. without the music. So basically I'm in my, just like athletic stance, I'm going to step to my right, squat down, that's 1, switch, 2, right, Kind of a boxy two-step, if you will. My allergies are exploding. You're doing a total of 16. So you're doing 8 per side or per leg. You are welcome to add weight to this. You are not required to add weight to this. You can dance, Meg. If you wanna, we'll dance in between. Excellent. So with the good mornings, right? I tend to bias, right? Kind of a slightly less range of motion. Meaning we're biasing the hamstrings and glutes and stopping the chest from moving independently. But like I said, it's not incorrect. It's just if you continue to forward fold, your low back takes all of that weight, basically. So I would say pick your own adventure, but there you are. We're going to do this a total of 3 times. Yeah, so this good morning, the 8 reps, and the 16 step outs. You just did 1 round.
2 more times.
Yep. I guess up there, Meg. I don't want the chest to move anymore, so if the knees have to bend, don't worry about knees. Stop there. Yeah. If you feel like you're gonna tip forward, Meg, just go ahead and stop, right? I feel like I don't want that extra chest motion. Just
So
just the hip. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. And even that's better because before the chest was kind of coming forward.
I thought we were supposed to tip. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I realized.
I was like, okay, why is this not just a squat?
Yeah, it's a good question. And the short answer is it's hard if you don't feel your hamstrings. But ultimately, it's the start of your squat in some respect, but you're not sitting down.
Okay, got it.
Feel like you're sitting down, but your seat's really far away. So the way I equate it, it's like I'm trying to close a car door with my butt. I'm just like sticking my butt behind me to close the door, but it is technically a hinge pattern, but it's genuinely a confusing switch there. And if you're going to carry for the squat, so you can carry it like you are, Mike, or just kind of hold it in front of you. Just kind of like, you kind of hold it near your chest. The reason when we hinge, we have it near the belly is because that's where our center of mass is being carried. But if we are squatting, our weight, right? So it should be kind of more near the chest just to support where the weight we're carrying. So if you're squatting and holding weight, I want the weight kind of near your chest. If you're good morning-ing with your weight, I want it kind of near the rib cage, wherever it feels most balanced, basically. Oh, that was my shoulder. It didn't hurt though. Yeah.
Okay, sip of coffee between the sets. All right.
That's reasonable. 3 times through, Lisa? 3? I don't know. I'm asking you. Did you do 3? So you're doing that couplet 3 times.
He did.
I think so, but then I'm just realizing I was doing 10 and not 16, but okay.
Well, that's why they were smoking me. I was like, why is she smoking me?
That's okay. I mean, you're welcome to make up your squats. If you don't, that's okay.
That you have to randomly squat throughout the day today.
I will throw in
That's-
random.
Faster question? Excuse me. Can I ask you a question? All day.
I
Okay,
mean, I think as long as you're running a meeting, I think you should absolutely do so.
there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but with Arisa, that'd be like, hello, welcome to my meeting.
Also, that's also Maxine.
Yes. It's okay. Keep them guessing. Then you'll be able to tell who's paying attention, Arisa.
That's right.
Last thing for you too.
Okay.
Ready? We did it.
Oh, you did all three. Okay, I wasn't sure. Sorry, that was
Yeah,
my.
we did the practice set with you, and then we did 2 more.
Yes, no, the practice set was round one. That was not a pretend like.
Correct. So we did 2 more. So we're good to go.
It was not a fake round, if you will. So we have some Romanian deadlifts or deadlifts. So I'll talk about both of those things. I said controlled descent. I don't mean I just want intent with control, right? As opposed to like a specific tempo. So we're not moving like molasses in winter on the way down, but we're also not going really, really fast. So just move smoothly. That's all I need. In terms of your deadlifts, we're going to go ahead and I have a very small kettlebell here. But if you prefer, so if your weight is very small, okay, or maybe very low to the ground, let's say like my dumbbell here. I don't have to deadlift from the ground. That could be quite low. So a couple of options for my dumbbell athletes. If you want to tilt your weight down, this gives you a little height. If this is still too short, stack a book or two. That works fine too. For my kettlebell athletes, I can also just prop this up. I'm comfortable with this height. I would probably go heavier, but you know, I'm warming up here. So hips are going back. I'm going to bend my knees. So we're going to start with that good morning idea here. Not letting the chest come with me. See why this might be a problem, right? So chest stays up. Sit down to a seat. So hips back, sit down. Then you're going to push. Stand. The weight stays between my feet. Okay. This is your full deadlift. If you prefer more of a Romanian style, whether it's with a dumbbell or a kettlebell, okay. I'm going to just go singular here, but you can hold one in each hand if it's a little lighter. It's going to be hip back and stop when the hip stops. So this is one where it's pretty critical, where I want that back position or that back, the shoulder hip relationship, right, to move together, not independently. And you can start to see why that might be a problem. Okay, so either way, 8 Romanian deadlifts or deadlifts.
Jumping, well, dance.
Meg's gonna dance. Okay, Arisa, what I'm gonna have you do is 8 to 10 vertical jumps. Seated are fine, by the way. If you can jump onto a box, congratulations, but don't hurt yourself. Not my fault. You do something stupid, okay? So your vertical jump is where we have, obviously, sofa's a little rough, but you get the idea. So I'm on my sofa, I'm seated. I'm gonna put my weight over my feet. Right, sit down. Okay, we're on a different seat, do that. No weight when you're jumping.
Oh.
Free hands. I mean, look, if you wanna weight that, by all means, go for it.
I was stepping because stepping is really good for me.
Yes, if you can step, Meg, you can step on your steps, or you can step, if you feel okay, you could do weighted step ups.
Okay, I'll do weights with
Yeah,
this
like
step.
grab some weights and step up. Once you've done that, couplet, so your 8 deadlift variations, and your 8 to 10 vertical jumps, we can do 10 step ups, Meg, if you're 12, if you want more volume. You're gonna go ahead and rest accordingly. So you're going heavier, you have lots of weights, rest a little longer, closer to that minute and a half. If you're like me, I have 10 pounds here. Maybe I don't rest so long because I don't need to, because it's not as heavy as I would have access to in my workplace or a gym. We're going to do this a total of 5 times. You've just done one round.
5 times?
Correct.
Gotcha.
You've just done one. Yeah, if you can step, that's great. So stepping up onto something is perfect.
Stepping's really good. I just have to be mindful of how I'm coming down and not, like, it can't be like land on the toe and pivot
Yeah.
on the foot. That's all. If
Yeah,
I
it's not a
can
natural
come
toe
down
heel.
on the ball of my foot and then come down and then, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, beautiful. And you're both doing great, but if it helps, right, to touch something, a tactile feedback, a yoga block is great for this. Whatever, find something that you can touch that fits the range of motion for you. I think it goes without saying this should all be pain-free. Right? Challenging, okay. But painful, no. Lisa, have your allergies exploded the last couple days? I feel like between
I thought I was especially sneezy the other day.
yesterday, I was sneezing like a allergy commercial.
I will tell you that, so we pulled a lot of people out of the water at Wildflower and or had a lot of people resting. And I know some of the kids pulled out a lot of, and the Cal Poly kids, that they really are, honestly were kids. I'm not being condescending. They pulled out some, there were some people who, especially on the sprint, and were like, probably not swimmers, but we were pulling people out on the 1.2 mile swim and on the ollie and on the long course. And a lot of them they were like, I don't understand. And I was like, I can't breathe. And I'm like, allergies? And they're like, and so a couple of people came up to me in the festival afterwards and I was like, thank you. I don't know what happened. I'm a swimmer. And I was like, allergies? So, and I had an athlete who couldn't breathe. Sylvia did a Alcatraz practice and took out 3 of our TMT athletes this weekend, and one of them didn't make it. And she's like, now I'm panicked. And I was like, she told me that she had an allergy attack the day before and took an allergy pill in the morning. And she's like, I thought I'd be fine. And I was like, we're chalking that up to allergies. Don't let that tell your head that you can't swim, Because as I told a bunch of my swimmers, I was like, because they were like, I don't get it. I was like, shit happens some days. Shit just, So sometimes, like trust your gut. It's better to get out. It's either better to rest and then go on, which I did a lot of times for people, or it's better to like call it than live to fight another day,
Yeah, I mean, in this particular case, I mean, yesterday there was a wind advisory. Like it was
Yeah.
plus, it was like, it was not the highest winds ever, but it was blustery in the city, and it was definitely.
Well, it's the season, and I think also there were people there who don't live here, and when you travel to someplace, I had an allergy attack in a swim once, and I just had to stop and wait,
Yeah.
and then,
Yeah.
the whole swim wasn't comfortable and not my best, but I knew what was going on,
Sure.
When you're somewhere where your body doesn't know the allergens, your body can be like, nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that butt squeeze at the end, man. Woo!
Yeah, and it's a good point. With these deadlifts, we want a butt squeeze. And I say butt squeeze because it's an easy cue. But I'm gonna say this, for if you are a butt clencher, like you're flexed so hard all the time, I need you to relax. Okay. For those athletes, I want you to stand up. Okay. So it's going to depend on the type of athlete you are. But if you know you're that person, where you're just like constantly, your butt's constantly flexed.
I know what you're talking about.
Just in general, there are people who tend to over exaggerate that cue. I want you just standing up. That's it. In fact, don't squeeze your butt.
Right. I didn't mean I know who you're talking
I know
about.
what you mean, but like,
I can think of an example in your household.
no.
No.
Yes.
Clencher.
Yes.
My favorite answer.
I mean, it's often linked with anxiety. I mean, like, there's a link between
It's a protection thing, man.
waiting for something to happen.
Yep.
Well, nothing's gonna happen, you know?
Great. I'm gonna have the butt of steel. Go.
Good. And I will say with the Romanian deadlift, right, the version in which you don't inherently touch the floor, it is very hamstring and glute heavy. So whereas when you start to bend the knee and sit down, right, the whole idea of hips back and then sitting down, the quads can be more helpful there. So we're kind of distributing the load to other muscle groups, so which why it doesn't feel so acute or maybe as hard.
Okay.
Those jumps where you said do start to catch up with you. So if you're not feeling as fresh and sprightly as Meg,
I mean, I'm just stepping.
you're doing your step classes.
All right.
But if jumping is an option, right? This goes for my people who are assigned female at birth, actually pretty much anyone, but particularly assigned female at birth. And you are aging like we all are because time is passing. Jumping and landing is a good thing if you can jump and land well. If you're not sure, jump with your feet together, right? That's a great way to practice if you're like you haven't done it or it's been ages and you're cleared to jump, of course. Doctor says yes and all that. You should be teaching kids or people to jump with their feet together. That kind of eliminates that pronation or knee collapse. Right.
And 4 or 5, I can't remember.
5 total. I'm not sure what you're on.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm either on 4 or 5.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Your best guess. Arisa, what are you on?
Yeah, 3 or 4. Maybe it's 4.
I think you just finished 4.
Okay. All right. We're starting 5.
Let's call it starting 5, shall we?
All right.
That feels about right. So a little less straight leg, Meg. I want a little soft, I want the knees soft, unless you're doing a stiff leg deadlift on purpose.
I was on that one, but it's okay.
Oh, and if you're doing it on purpose, that's fine. I just wasn't sure if that was.
I did all the other ones with the bent leg. I was giving it a shot. It was also feeling good.
Okay. If it feels good, then go for it. That's fine. As long as it was intentional.
Just checking out how my hamstrings are. Making sure they're still there.
There's
Are you still there? You don't hurt all the time. What's up with that?
these heel elevated glute bridges will not next will inform you whether or not they're still present. Good. The final set of your step ups or your jumps. I'm aware that if you can't jump because of your living situation, as in maybe you're the second floor between 2 floors of other people, they might not appreciate you stomping around at 6 a.m. or whatever time you're doing this. So think accordingly, basically.
Now I know I'm supposed to wear a shoe.
I think you should be okay for this next bit. I don't think of a huge amount of toe bendy stuff going on.
I just have to do the push-ups on my knees. That's all.
Yes, and which is fine, right? Which is a perfectly fine scale. So we have 3 things for this final section. It's 4 times through, and you can rest as needed. We have 8 per leg Bulgarian split squats. If you need to make it a regular split squat, just keep the foot on the ground. 8 push-ups using your knees, elevating your hands. Any of the variations that we've gone through are fine. And then we have our 16 heel elevated glute bridges. So just a quick review. So Bulgarian means you're lifting your foot on something. I'm going to use a sofa, but you don't have to. I like to go off of my foot here, but you don't have to. Okay, but you can. My other foot is pointing forward, as in 12 o'clock on an analog clock. I'm going to sit back, squat down, stand back up. That's too much. Bring the foot down. This way, sorry, camera here. And right, so weight in hand or not. This can be weighted. If my foot's down, I tend to weight it. My foot's up, I tend to start unweighted personally, but that's to each their own. Push-ups. Think we all got those? Yeah, I hope so. Hope we're good on push-ups. But just in case, if you need to adjust accordingly, okay, knees are fine. This is what kind of Meg was talking about. So if you go to your knees, that's okay. If you're going to go from a plank shape, that's okay. But whatever you need to do. Getting your chest to the ground if possible. And then your heel elevate glute bridges. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but you can elevate your heels on something. So I have a sofa here, but my feet up, right? You want your body at 90 degrees. So hip, knee, ankle, all that means is we're emphasizing the hamstrings. Okay. So squeeze, down, squeeze, and then down. If you don't have that option, a regular glute bridge is fine.
My heels up on the bench, I can do that.
Yeah, that's great.
I was doing this the other day at PT, kind of.
Yeah. Lay all the way down for me, Risa. So I'd rather you lay down and work your way up.
All right.
And maybe we reduce the volume. So if 8 is too many with that additional range of motion, let's make it 5. That's fine.
All right.
This is gonna make me do 30-second holds today, I know it.
If you know you're doing this later,
Hits are good. A lot of times I'll tell her, I'll be
Okay.
like, when I have PT on Tuesdays. Cause the cool thing about PT when you do it every week is if you don't have a big training load, then you just get to work on all of your imbalances.
yes.
Stuff I'll be like, oh, I did something, I did these today, and she'll go, oh, good, then we're gonna do it this way, you know, like she'll make a change. Okay,
Beautiful.
yep. I got a care team, baby.
I mean,
Our athletes get care teams, you know, we work together.
I know people who are they're just like active people, but they just like to have people. Like someone, I have a person who has a Pilates coach and a yoga coach. I know what they just like to have people to tell them what to do. It does take a certain amount of income to do that. But there are people who that they don't want to think about it, right? They're often in a position of, would say, not always power, but leadership in their own right, and they don't want to be a leader. And they're like, you tell me. So I don't want to know.
Okay. Okay, round 2. Oops. All right. Oh, split squats.
Back to your split squats.
Yeah.
The way I like to think of this is because we're basically having split squat, you're standing up, push up, you get to the floor, and then your glute bridges, you just roll over. Instead of having you push up, get up, and then get back down again. Just logistically, it's less to do.
Dancing.
Yeah, like I said, you also make these glute bridges just on the ground. If you don't have anything sturdy or frankly anything you want to put your feet on. Still want to keep it 16 though. All the way down, good. And then if you need to warm up or wiggle up, that's fine.
Okay.
Obviously that causes some shoulder pain and other things that might be a different story. But if it's just because you can't get up, I like to emphasize full range of motion, partially because we're gonna fall down. We do on occasion, maybe not as often as adults, but when you do fall down, can you get up? I mean, it's frankly as simple as that.
Okay.
When we're old and we've fallen, we can get up.
That's what Life Alert is for, apparently. No, I mean, that is one of the first signs of, or that is a sign of independence. If you can get up from falling down, that is it is a sign of independence as we get older, or just less mobile.
Okay. All right.
4 rounds is a lot. So if you need to take a break, or frankly, we have 9 minutes remaining on the session. Whatever you get done in 9 minutes. Yeah. There's no. On those push-ups, squeeze your belly, squeeze your butt. It'll work. Unless you're warming up on purpose. But we can keep that downward momentum, that plank nice and flat.
Squeeze my shoulders.
Yeah. Toasty shoulders.
Oh, I feel good.
And anytime you're doing a single leg variation, right? You guys are doing a great job with this, but you're gonna make sure you pick a weight that both legs can do, or in the case of the split squat, that both legs can do.
30 seconds and I'm doing the last set.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, if it helps to set a timer for yourself, I know normally it's written in your training peaks to rest X amount. But if you find that you can't help but move constantly or lift constantly, set yourself a rest timer. 30 seconds, 45 seconds, even a minute, especially as you get more tired. And that's more for your nervous system. You don't do sprints back to back to back, because by their 6th set, you're toast. You need time for your nervous system to accommodate those efforts. So while these efforts might not be as intense, it's still an input. So I'd recommend some rest unless I say otherwise, right? So unless I'm like, it's a superset, where we do 2 things back to back, then you rest. Otherwise, if you rest too long, ignore everything I just said.
Okay.
And I'm open to, whenever I write, if say Bulgarian split squats today, but if you are open to switching up your style of split squats, that can be, sometimes when we reduce the balance load, as in balance is much easier with your foot down, you can sometimes get more range of motion, right? And sometimes more weight. And so that's another way to think about it as well. At the top of your push-up, Meg, keep your wrists under your shoulders. So bring your hands. Yeah, there we go.
Sometimes my knees scooch back.
That's okay. Or scooch your knees forward, however direction.
There, I knew that. I was like, oh, there they go.
Yeah, it happens. It also might just be your body's way of being like, I don't want to do it like this anymore. And it's sort of changing your position. Getting tired. Beautiful push-ups. I can tell you're doing them, Marisa, because you disappear from the screen. And then you pop back up. That's how I can tell your chest touches the ground. So in that glute bridge, yep, I want the shin vertical, or if it's heel elevated, it should look like a 90-degree angle from the side, just so the hamstrings and glutes are more emphasized, right? Or glutes, excuse me. It's okay to feel both.
Need a fresh café. Mas café.
Thanks, Teresa. Yeah, you can rest laying down. That's cool. Get a thumbs up. That's great. Awesome work. I might take the extra few minutes to get my day rolling, but before we go, can I show you the shirt that I finished? It's done.
Oh my God, I forgot to tell you because I saw it the morning
Yeah.
all pinned out. Freaking amazing. Let's see it. Let's go. I saw it all pinned out and I was like, oh my God, Nikki, do you see how cute, how good this looks? And he was like, yeah, it looks good. It looks amazing. You should see, I like this. She had it like all pinned out on a mat to block it, I guess.
Oh,
Neck looks so good. Like, you can't quite tell when you're holding it up like that how good the neck is, but I know you were struggling with that and it looks so good.
It's better. It did, I mean, it loosened up, which is good, but it means it's less tight here, but it fits better here. So, but
Beautiful.
very nice. Wow.
So cute.
Rafa, don't come at me.
They don't own stripes.
That's right.
Rafa, there's no Rafa mark.
They did not invent the stripe.
That's right.
No,
That's right.
that's true. And also there's no Rafa markings on it. So therefore they keep.
You just have a random yellow stripe on your arm.
She's a stripe on the left shoulder, obviously.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, so all done. It's now officially dry and block 90, just sew in on my little ends. But
So cute. It's so it turned out so well. Good job.
I'm glad, I mean, I'm glad it did because it was still a fun project, but at least I'll wear it.
Yeah. No, it's adorable. Thank you for this, Coach.
Welcome. It's good to see you both, and I'll see you all next week.
And Miss Maxine slept through her alarm. Just saying, she texted me because I was like, "Where are you at?"
I'm gonna send her what do you call those things where they pop up when they come back down?
Prairie dogs.
Yes. In the morning.
Oh, yeah.
They go back
Ah.
I'll just make a video that pops up and goes, "Good morning," as if she doesn't have enough Meg.
in. We'll just gently tease her for a bit.
Yeah, so
I
good.
love her.
She had a big weekend. It was a big weekend.
It was a big weekend. That's reasonable.
Yeah, and she's just trying to not get deported to Gitmo, you know? So there you go.
You know, priorities. That's not funny. We shouldn't joke about that. Okay.
It's like, yeah. So
Good to see you. Thank you. Thank you.